All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from William Bonac, showing off his back poses here, back lat spread and a back double bicep. And I think, honestly, up until this point, these are probably the two most impressive updates that I've seen of Bonac so far. Now, we're under 2 weeks out from the Arnold Classic, so we should be seeing a lot of updates like this from a lot of the top guys that we're anticipating to place highly in this show. But Bonac, I think, is still a guy that a lot of people have counted out after his Olympia placing. He was outside of the top 6, certainly not where he wanted to be. And again, I think him and Ramy both are here looking for redemption, both working with Chad Nichols. Chad Nichols, I think, has really kind of a chip on his shoulder going into this show as one of the coaches for these guys. Because really, for both of them, they didn't have the showing they wanted at the Olympia. And I think, similar to Matt Jansen, he's got two athletes that have a shot at being, in the top here. Matt has both Sean Clarita and Nick Walker, and Chad has both Bonac and Ramy. So he's got a lot on his plate to try to get these guys into a top spot. And based on what we're seeing from Bonac here, I think he's on track to do that. I think, like I said, this is the most impressive update I've seen of him so far. He looks like he's really starting to dial in. He looks a lot tighter. You can see a lot of detail, a lot of density, a lot of muscle maturity in those back poses. And I think those are two poses where Bonac becomes really dangerous. He's known for having these really striated and dialed in glutes and hamstrings. And obviously he's got crazy detail and density in his upper back as well. But like I said, I think a lot of people are still counting out Bonac, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see an upset here. And I mean an upset in the sense that a lot of people are talking about Nick Walker, a lot of people talking about Sean Clarita, a lot of people talking about Samson Dauda, Big Ramy. Bonac's name has kind of been left on the outside of that conversation, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a Bonac here that came in significantly better or just better than he looked at the Olympia as far as conditioning is concerned. He could do some real damage in this lineup. I think a lot of people would be surprised, but I also don't think it's unlikely that we could see Bonac in the top 3. And granted, he is the only guy in this lineup that's already won the Arnold Classic 2 times. Now, granted, there are some guys in this lineup that have won Olympia titles, and that's something that Bonac has never done. But I just have a feeling Bonac is going to surprise some people. I think he's going to place pretty highly here if he is better than the Olympia. And I think people will be surprised. Based on this update, like I said, I haven't seen an update as impressive as this from Big Ramy, Chad's other client, I guess you would call it. And I think if you put this side by side with the recent lat spread that you got from Ramy, again, even though you can't see Ramy's lower body, I still think that Bonac is far and away ahead of where Ramy's at, if the updates that we're seeing from Ramy are recent. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Where do you think Bonac is going to land in this lineup relative to Big Ramy and relative to the rest of the lineup? Do you think he can be top 3? And out of Chad's 2 clients here, could he do better than Ramy? Now, next up in the news, I wanted to talk about the latest update from Ramon Dino at under 2 weeks out from the Arnold Classic. This was posted on the Renato Cariani YouTube channel. And the main focus of this, number 1, was that it was a recent update, but number 2 was his weight here. So a lot of people are focusing in on the fact that he said he weighed 104 kilos in this update, and he has to weigh 101 kilos for the competition. That's his weight restriction. So right now, in pounds, he's weighing over 229 pounds, and he has to be under 222 pounds the day of the competition. So he's got to lose 7 pounds in the next 2 weeks from this physique update that we're seeing here. And a lot of people are pointing out that weight discrepancy because of the fact that at the Olympia, if you guys remember, he was one of the guys that when he initially weighed in, they said he was too heavy. Now, for whatever reason, they said they mismeasured his height, and then that was the reason why that he didn't make weight at the Olympia. But, these guys in classic physique have been having issues lately with making weight because of the restrictions. Terrence Ruffin is another guy. If you guys remember at the Olympia, he was a pound over. He had to run up and down the escalators in like a tracksuit trying to sweat off that pound in like an hour's time to try to make weight. And a lot of people feel like that was the reason why Terrence was so off. So I think that's why a lot of people are honing in here on Ramon's weight, because 7 pounds, it might not seem like a lot, but for someone that's already been prepping for this show for months and only has 2 weeks left of that prep and has already depleted pretty significantly, he's probably going to have to deplete quite a bit in these next 2 weeks to drop 7 pounds, even when it comes down to the water cut. And I think right now we're, like 11 or 12 days from the classic portion of the show. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time. So a lot of people focused on that. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I guess it raises the potential to be, so it's worth mentioning here. But as far as how he actually looks in the update, I think he looks fantastic. And I think, that's the other thing too, is the fact that he looks so good in these updates. I wonder if people are worried that with such a drastic drop in weight, if that's going to drastically affect how he looks on stage compared to how he looks in these updates. So I think that's something worth pointing out. And also in Classic Physique, I wanted to talk about one of the stories that Urs recently posted. We haven't seen a whole lot of updates from Urs. We've got a couple, but they've been kind of few and far between. And Urs posted this on his story today, actually. He said energy levels at his lowest ever, and that he's never suffered more on a prep. He also goes on to apologize, and he says, sorry for not being more active on social media as I normally am, and I'm not replying to clients and friends as fast as I normally do. He says getting contest ready oftentimes looks easy on Instagram, but it's a fight against yourself. He said he wants to bring the best package possible to Ohio, and of course appreciates all the support. So I thought that was interesting that he said this was the most he's ever suffered for a prep. I wonder if that's going to be an indicator of what his conditioning is going to look like, because obviously Urs is known for very consistent conditioning. And I think maybe, I think he's got a chance here. I don't think it's completely in the bag for Ramon. I do think Ramon is the favorite to win, and he's probably going to be my prediction to win, but I don't think we can completely count out Urs just yet. Now, I do want to point out that even though both Ramon and Urs have improved significantly since the 2021 Olympia, Urs has beaten Ramon already. He beat him at that 2021 Olympia, so it can be done. But again, we're seeing a very different version of Ramon than we saw back in 2021, but we're also seeing a very different version of Urs. So while Ramon beat him at this most recent go-around at the Olympia, he was second and Urs was third, I don't think it's impossible for Urs to win this show. I think it's probably unlikely based on what we saw from Ramon at the Olympia being second to Chris Bumstead and looking kind of favorable, or pretty favorable in a lot of those comparisons, but I don't think it's an impossible task here for Urs. I think we're still going to see a pretty impressive battle in Classic Physique in just under 2 short weeks. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Urs has a chance? Now, we did finally get another update from Patrick Moore at about 2 weeks out from the Arnold Classic, and this update I thought was a little bit more of what we're wanting to see from Patrick. I think in this particular update, you can see a little bit more graininess. His conditioning looks to be a little bit sharper. I think that was the one thing that a lot of people were criticizing Patrick for, and some of the updates that he had already posted was that he looks a little bit off. He doesn't look like he's on track. People were posting saying that everybody else was way ahead of him condition-wise. But in this update that he posted, this was yesterday, or not even a day ago, so right around 2 weeks out, and he's working with Brian Troy, by the way. This is a guy that has worked with Hunter Labrada in the past. He looks really good. I mean, this is a much better update, I think, for Patrick than we've seen from some of the other ones. And like I said, some of those other updates that he posted, he still had like a hashtag throwback on them and hashtag TBT, so we don't know how many of those updates were actually recent or from what point in his prep this year they were from, if they were from this year. But this one at 2 weeks out, I think, is a lot more what we want to see from Patrick Moore, and a lot more encouraging for Patrick Moore fans that he has a shot at doing well in this really comeback show for him. This is the first time we're going to see him back on stage in a very long time. So I think a lot of his fans are anticipating, something special from him at this Arnold Classic. And I think this update maybe gave him a little bit more optimism that they might see that happen. And next up in the news, we did get another update from the, I think, on-paper favorite to win this show, Nick Walker, at 2 weeks out, weighing 258 pounds in this update. This time, not a fully comprehensive update where he hits every pose, just the front most muscular. And I think in this shot, you can see a lot more striations in his chest than you normally see. And you can really see at this point, he's really starting to dial things in. Like I said, Nick is my pick to win this show. I think Sean Clarita is a wild card. There's a possibility he could win. I think Ramy is still a wild card. If Ramy is able to somehow make massive improvements between the Olympia and now, I think he does have a shot at winning. If he doesn't make improvements, I think he doesn't, because clearly the judges did not like what they saw from Ramy at the Olympia. I think they need to see something different from him to win this Arnold Classic. And right now, every indicator is saying they like what they're seeing from Nick. Nick has been very consistent. We have no reason to believe that Nick is going to look worse than he's looked at the Olympia. We have no reason to believe that Nick is going to be off because, like I said, he is so consistent. The judges consistently reward him, and it seems like they certainly like what he brings to the stage. So I just feel very confident that Nick is going to walk away with this second title here. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are your Arnold Classic predictions? Who do you think is the favorite to win the show? And if you have not already bought the pay-per-view pre-sale, you can get it right now for $45 instead of $60 if you use the code NSP10. There's a link in the description box below to the FanMio page where you can buy that pay-per-view. And like I said, if you buy it now, it's going to be cheaper than if you buy it the weekend of, and you can save $15 right now with the pre-sale and combination code NSP10. So go do that to support the channel, support the Arnold Classic. And as always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.